You can't win a game if you don't know the rules. And in 2025, most coaches are still playing last decade's content game. You may be posting consistently, reels, carousels, thoughts of the day, lots of inspo, but without a strategy and a system, that effort is not getting you anywhere. Today, I'm going to walk you through how to market like a coach in 2025, the new rules of content distribution, the system that actually turns content into clients, and how to show up consistently without burning out. Let's get into it. Marketing in 2025 is not about more content. It's about better content strategy. And if you don't know the rules of the game you're playing, you're not really playing, you're just posting. Let's take a second to talk about the old game. Post consistently, hope for likes and follows, and pray that visibility equals growth. The new game. All of the platforms now run on an audience match algorithm. To win today, you must publish valuable video to one viewer avatar consistently. And by consistently, I mean show up for a year, multiple posts per week. Everything that you share either helps the algorithm place you in front of the right people or it makes you invisible. Your content has to be good enough for a cold audience to want to binge. You need to aim to move people down your content funnel with watch time. You have to take them from first-time viewer to interested to follower to invested fan. In this new game, content that is selfish or self-centered or that sells in post just triggers people to scroll right on past. So today, one of the biggest things that has changed is that your content needs to entertain, engage, inform, and the system behind the scenes is what has to sell. So let's go over 3 really big new rules that you have to consider when creating content today. Rule number 1 is that you need to signal your audience. If your content talks to everyone, it likely reaches no one. With everything that you post, the platform is asking, who is this content best for? So we need to lock in on one clear message, one clear audience, and one strategic through line in all of your content. Every reel, every podcast, every story, we're teaching the algorithm who to show our content to. With audience matching, if our strategy and our content is scattered in message, it breaks the match of the audience matching algorithm and you disappear. But when you repeat one focused core message in all of your content, you start showing up to the right people at the right time. And that brings me to rule number 2. You need to build a bingeable body of work. Let's take a minute to break down content. We know there's short form and long form. Short form is flashy and it captures attention, but long form, that's where you build trust. It's a common trap to think about focusing on short form. And I like to compare this to nutrition, where you're all snacks and no meals. When it comes to short form, it's got a lot of lifting to do. It has a really hard job. It has to stop a cold viewer mid-scroll. It has to be visually engaging to hook them. It has to be interesting and present a clear point of view and message in 30 to 60 seconds that people want to watch. And it has to do all of that for someone who doesn't know you and definitely doesn't trust you yet. That's not easy. And that's why I teach a system where we really rely on our long form content or our weekly content anchor to become the base of our content strategy. And that strategy is leading with answering client questions. But long form content is definitely not a shortcut. YouTube is now the #1 streaming app on television. Podcasts and videos are competing with music on commutes or during a workout or while multitasking around the house or at work. Long form content is now primetime content. If someone chooses to listen to you or to watch you, they're likely skipping their favorite Netflix show or their favorite YouTuber. And that's a high bar to set. But when done well, your long form content, your weekly content anchor, becomes a Q&A library that clients and potential clients can binge. It's your trust bank and your marketing engine. Your ultimate aim when creating content is to make your content so good that people want to watch, come back for more, engage, and ultimately share. A share is now the only warm intro in a cold content world. If your content is share-worthy, it's very likely it grows. This is why I encourage every coach to take ownership and treat content as a skill. This is part of your job now, and your business depends on it. And that brings us to rule number 3. You need to build the system that underpins everything. Most coaches, or creators for that matter, are on a content treadmill. They're constantly working to create more. And as we said in this new game, content that is selfish or content that sells just triggers that scroll right on past reaction and it pushes people away. But if your content doesn't actually connect to your offer, it's not really marketing. It's just content. Content alone does not convert. Marketing is content with a plan and a system. So you need a path that turns attention into trust and trust into clients, starting with your lead magnet that solves one very clear problem. And then email and direct message and a landing page and maybe even ads that do the selling for you and a simple consult flow that feels like you're coaching. Because if your content doesn't map to a conversion path, it just becomes noise and a waste of your time. This show exists solely to help you build that system with confidence. Marketing in 2025 is not about more content and hustle. It's about alignment. right message, right audience, and the right next step. So you don't need to be thinking or worrying about posting more. You need to build marketing into your practice in a sustainable way. If you haven't grabbed the one-page marketing plan, it's linked below, and this will help you understand the full system and how all the parts work together. So your important takeaways from this episode are to know the game, build the system, and start developing the skill that helps you create content that actually works. If this episode hit home or helped clarify some things for you, please let me know and share it with a coach friend who needs to understand the game they're not playing. That's it for today. I'll see you next week.